Hey everyone! I hope you've had an awesome, happy Halloween and that you had lots of candy, but not too much. and welcome to Seed Bead Saturday. I'm pre recording this video, so I'm not live right now. I'm recording this, having family visit for this weekend. So I am going to just do a really fun tutorial, and it's going to wrap up all the beads you probably have left in that October box collection. The design is here. It's a really cool Peyote stitch odd count, and the feature here being that I attached a cool finding. So the Maronia 2 finding, I believe it is called. It's a Cymbal finding, and there was one in the October box. But they basically are, I'm going to just bring up one of them for you to see really quick. They're like kind of like a prong, right? They look like that before they're stitched in, and they're made in Greece. The ones that were in your box are rose gold. And I was thinking I'll add these to the shop if you guys want in other finishes. There's bronze, there's regular gold, and there's silver too. So like an antique silver color. So, but currently you can get these in rose gold in these whole packs in my shop if you'd like to get them. They work with any 8-0 seed beads in the tutorial I'm going to show you now. And I'm sure they work for other stuff too, but for 8-0, that's the bead size that I am using here. And this was your 8-0 forest mix. And it came in, again, the October project box. So we are getting ready to ship the next one. So if your pre-orders are already in, that's great. They are actually, by the time I air this, I'll have closed it. I've got one more day as I'm recording this that it'll be open for pre-orders. And then at that point, you'll just have to sit tight for box extras. So I'm going to do some, opportunities with the box to purchase just like each item individually after the box goes live, for especially for some of the mixes, because some folks have said they would love to have an extra set or tube or two of those. So that will be done. I'm done with this much of my bead mix. So this is going to be a short bracelet, but you will have enough to do a scatter like I have here from your original kit and the other projects that were featured. So in the description, there's a link. It'll take you to the October box landing page on my website, which has every tutorial that we did, including the new one that we're going to be working through today. So we're going to do the Forest Peyote bracelet. And I found a way that starting on the finding is not required. You can just make a whole odd count peyote bracelet and put that finding on at the end, no problem. But if you want to just to break up the monotony of doing a new stitch, like putting it onto the finding first, it's just like a little shortcut. And I'm not sure if it's easier or not, but it's fun and it's just something different and fun to see. And then I'll show you closing off the end with the other finding. So let's switch our camera. All right, so I'm getting my findings ready, and let's see, I actually just need the one for now. So let's put the others away for a minute. And I'm going to work with a random scatter of these 8-0 seed beads. These happen to be a Miyuki mix that I made for my box, but you can also use any 8-0s you have. I think this finding should work well with Check and Toho as well. Let me go ahead and take my banner off really quick. As cute and fun as that is, we'll see if this one's distracting. Oh, look. There was a Halloween pack in my what's it called? I guess here, he's cute. We'll leave him on there. Or maybe this one, Trick or Treat. Yeah, no, it might get in the way with my hands, so we'll turn that off. But that is so fun. All right, and so in the handout, it shows you details of everything I did. It talks a little bit about the pattern. So in summary, I started making a pattern and realized that I was getting very low on beads and I didn't want to count on being able to finish the design like that. So what I did is I just started scattering it. And that was actually a suggestion I got from the chat during one of our lives together. Oh, and the finishes on this is just a chain I made with jump rings and a little 6-0 seed bead and one of our lobster claws from the box. So we're going to go ahead and start by stringing 9 seed beads. And what we're going to do is we're just going to string the first 9 and then use the finding as part of the next row. And what's unusual about this is I think I was just looking for something adventurous to do, but it kind of creates what is essentially the row 3 backwards and then does the odd count turn here. And then just you carry on like that. So I'll show you. And you can always do this more than one way. There's like a lot of ways to do this, but so just something fun. What I am going to do for clarity is I'm going to pick up different colors. So here's 9 seed beads, 7, 8, and 9. There we go. Okay, so I just 9 all in one color. This will make it easy to see what beads are different. Oh, and I forgot to mention I'm working with some 1G thread. It's either 1G or KO, actually. I'm not sure which one I picked up. It's one of these. It doesn't really matter what thread. You can use literally any thread you want for this. I find with peyote that it's kind of tight, so you can get away with a thinner thread. And it looks like here I did go with the 1G in blue. But here's another option. It's just KO thread. So 9 beads again. Sorry, I'm jumping around a little bit. Which way did I have the tail? Let me make sure I stick with my illustration. So here's my tail side. Here's my working side. And here's our finding. And so you'll see the finding and the beads here are going to be about the same height like that. Bring this down just a smidge. There we go. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and leave enough tail. Let's see, I'm going to leave about a 7-inch tail to weave in and tighten. Bring your needle through the finding. So 7-inch tail over here, working side, 9 beads. And here we're just going through the finding like that. And what you're going to want to do is skip this bead and go through the next one. Pull the working and tail thread apart, and you'll start a peyote stitch start. And it's going to look like that. It might loosen up when I let go of the thread, but essentially what we did is we just created a little peyote start where this is a bead and that's a bead, and we went through a bead. So now let's pick up another bead, and this time I'm going to go with a different color. We're going to skip the next bead from the one we're exiting. We're exiting that one. I'm going to skip the next one and go through the one right after that. Pull working and tail thread apart. And it might flip on you. Mine did. Don't worry about it if it does. It's okay. We can straighten that out. And there really is no pattern, so if it flips for yours, don't even worry. Skip the next bead. Go through the one after that. We picked up another bead. And then just each time, just pull that working and tail thread apart. You can see I'm getting a little bit of spin there. It's all right. Pick up a bead, skip the next bead, and go through the bead after that. There we are. Tighten that all up again. So here's what I've got. Let me just hold it tight. And you can see we've got this, and we still have another bead right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the finding. Let me hold this up really quick. I'm going to go through the finding, this side of it. And so what you'll see now, if you tighten up things, is you'll have this one loose bead hanging out that we didn't go through yet. And then you'll see all these other beads kind of locked themselves really nicely in position onto the finding. So now we're going to do an odd count turn. Start by heading through this bead. And it would help to note that we're going to be going through the side the tail's coming out. So we're going to go through the loose bead through its tail side. So it's kind of, a roundabout way to do it. And it's certainly not the only way you could accomplish this start. It's just a way that I thought was neat. It's something different. And everything's kind of loose right now, but I'm going to show you how to fix that. So we completed the work shown here. I'm going to turn the page and go over the next step. So currently our thread is exiting out of that bead. And we're just going to do an odd count turn. We're going to go through these beads, back through the binding, and it acts as a reinforcement. And then we'll start a new row. From here, it's just the same steps we know and love for peyote. So here through this loose bead right now, we're going to go through this one. And it actually doesn't matter if you go through left or right, right versus left for this next bead up here. But let me stick with what I did in the illustration. So we'll stay consistent. I'm going to go through this one. Also, if you're working with Fireline, you might have a little easier time because my stuff is wonky. It's jumping around. There we go. All right, and then I'm just going to fix this flipping here. There we go. We'll go through this one. So if I was trying to do a pattern, I would want to make sure that the bead that I added was the right one. There we go. Through those. So we're just doing the odd count turn. Oops. There we go. From here, go through the finding. I think if I had this to do over, I would demo it with maybe Wildfire because it would be a little tighter, but there we go. All right, and so to finish the odd count turn, you're just going to head through this bead again. Really, that just served the purpose of a couple of things. It reinforced our work. It gave us the opportunity to flip the new beads this way, but it actually is not necessarily that important if those beads flip on you, especially if you're just going to do a scatter pattern or if you're doing a stripe even. And now we have a chance to really tighten it up. So there's that. So now we're just going to do a normal row. And I'll switch colors again so we can see which row is new. And 4. There we go. So far so good. And now you see as you do the new rows, everything gets a little bit tighter. It's looking really nice. Coming back with another row now. Switch colors again. We'll pick up a bead. Oh, actually, before I start the new row, there's one little tip I forgot, and it's in my illustration. But after you add this row, go ahead and reinforce your connection with the finding again. Sorry, I've been like really like scatterbrained today, so it's not my finest hour for demoing. It's kind of late in the day. It's like 4 or 5 even. I can't even look at the clock because I'm using all my devices. There we go. Okay, so that's just, a little reinforcing step. I recommend doing that because you saw how, like, when I was starting that row, it was getting all loose. So if you forget, you'll remember then. All right, new row. Pick up a bead. And, we're just going through the up bead here. I kind of like this thing with the row change color thingy happening. It's really cute. All right. So now we're at another odd count place, right? We just did reinforce, right? And then we created our new row. And now we're going to go through and do another odd count turn. So currently our new bead, we went through this bead. We're going to need to go through the next one here. and then pick up a new bead. And then you do that little odd count thing, which is kind of like a figure 8. So it looks like this. So here, from where we are, we're going to continue down through this next bead here. It'll be the one your tail's coming out in this particular row, but in future rows, it'll just be the one that's actually 3 rows back from the row you added. Then we'll pick up our bead and we'll go through and make kind of like a little figure 8 motion. I was able to get through 2, and then we'll turn and head through these. There we go. You can even just tighten it here if you want to. And then turn through here. And now we're ready to start another row. So that was our first odd count turn. Let's do a few more. And let me tell you what it shows in the handout really quick. From there, we've finished that odd count turn. And it shows you ready to start another even count row, which is essentially starting from right here. And when you get to here, you won't have another need to reinforce like we did with the finding. So let's do a few more rows together just so you can see some normal non-finding start rows. So here's 1 and 2. Whoop. Make sure I still have my needle on. There we go. I love this board for demoing, but the thread catches on it. I think some of you guys mentioned that happens to you too when you're working. That happens to me a lot. What have I done? They tell you never when you've made a mistake. See, I picked up a bead, but it wasn't actually on my needle. They tell you to take your needle off before you try to back out, and that's why. And I was breaking the rules and not doing it. It's been a really frantic couple of weeks. Oh my goodness, like life is going really fast. I have a lot of responsibilities this time of year. Stuff starts getting wild. I've got family visits, and it's not even holiday season yet, but this is a good thing. The boys are going to be so excited to see Grandma. It's been a little while since she's come up here. But my house was really dirty, guys. Don't tell anybody. I had to clean for like days. Oh my gosh. It's taken me like the whole week to clean my house. It got so bad. I'm so embarrassed, but I need to tell somebody. So congrats. You guys all get to hear. So I wanted to share one more tip here. So like we just finished this even row, right? And even though we don't have a finding to reinforce, feel free to do another turn like that. Truth is, I actually really do this on, okay, so peyote, if I'm working with a thin thread, like one of these kind of like 1G threads, I love working with that kind of thread for peyote because it makes it more flowy. The only problem is it's loose. And so these little reinforcement turns, they can't hurt anything. Go ahead and do them. You might feel really happy if you do because it will make everything much tighter as you work. So let's do another odd count row. I actually am really enjoying this pattern. I think I'm going to keep it. So let's just like do a flow down, like, you know, one of those patterns that works up and then back down from that color. Do we do 2 rows of copper? Let's do 2 rows of copper. Okay, so there's 1. And here's 2. And 3. Oh my gosh, and now there's a leaf blower. I promised myself I was going to sit down and get this down in an hour and not edit, but oh goodness. Okay, so here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then odd count turn. So we want to go through, it'll kind of just like be the next bead, right? Technically speaking, it's 3 rows back, right? 1, 2, 3, from the one you've just added and created. But it literally is just the next bead. You just go through it. And then you pick up the bead that you'd like to add for that row you're working. And then just make that figure 8. So usually I'll just go through like a zigzag like that. Pull that. And then head through kind of just making like an X shape, right? I'm just getting that tail out of the way. Turn. You guys want to make an earring? Actually, you know what? That might be a way to get the whole recording ready to go. So let's see. I'm starting a new even count row. And, you know, I'm going to do one more row of copper because I think that's going to look cool. So let's do that. See, I can't help it. I have to design even when I'm just demoing. All right, here's another copper row going on. Even count row. Pretty much guarantees I'll have enough beads too, right? Okay. So there's our pretty copper center row. Okay, we're going to go back through to tighten. All right, and now let's do a row of the seafoam. And we'll just go all the way back down to the blue, and we'll end it with 2 rows of the cobalt blue. And then we'll put the finding on. I think I'm just going to record the whole thing if you guys are okay with that, and we'll just chat because I have one more thing I want to show you. There's another way you can do an odd count turn that's a little bit, it has some pros and cons. And I think I've shown it before. I did a video with Jennifer actually where we were showing this technique, but so see how I just automatically went through that bead there? And I'm about to do the odd count the way I've been showing you. If you want to, before you go through that bead, so just through this last step bead here, pick up the bead you're trying to add, turn your piece on the side. You can grab the thread bridge that's in between the last 2 beads on your edge and pull. And then you have to kind of help the bead sit to the side. If you just kind of push it to the side. And then you just kind of bring this thread, it's under this thread bridge, right? Bring it up and across like that and go down to that bead. So that's another way you can do your odd count turns. It is faster. The only thing about it that is even a remotely, like I would say is a con, is that it makes the side thread thick and it can tend to make one of the sides less flexible. So when piece, like for example, it'll be a little stiffer on this side than that side. With 8/0 seed beads, I really don't worry about it as much. I kind of don't like to do this with 11/0. But with 8/0, I feel like you can get away with it, especially if you're working with flowy thread like I am. So here, now we're doing a normal row. I'll show that one more time, don't worry. I'm gonna have to do that a few more times. Okay. And here's a lock turn at the end of the even count row. And what's our next bead to add? Oh, yeah. Okay, so now we're going to add this one. Three. And so see, I just went through this one. We'll pick up a new bead. This is the last one of this row. Here's the side of the piece under the thread bridge there. Help that bead sit sideways, flat like that, and in plane with ease. Bring this thread up and over like that. And then down through. It's a brave shortcut, but feel free to do it. Sometimes I do like kind of a hybrid of it. So like I'll start my piece the way I showed you with the odd count turns, especially if I'm starting on a finding like that for stability. And then lazy in the middle, right? I start to like do the odd count turn that way, and then I'll switch back when we get to the finding and do it the other way. All right, so here we go. Let's finish another row of blue. I might need to dump out a few more beads here. How are we doing? Yeah, I'm low. Okay, let's find them. Did you guys see where? Oh, okay. Wow, it is getting low. Okay, one more time with that thread bridge. We'll turn it that way. And we'll head through this way. Okay. So I want to show you about putting the finding on. So when you're going to put the finding on, you want to start at the beginning of an odd count turn row. So I just finished my odd count turn row right there. Oh, you guys, look, I skipped a bead. Man. Hang on. I guess I'm going to pause and fix this. 1 second. All right. So take 2. I actually backed out that row, the one that I was adding, because I just realized that I want to make my pattern kind of symmetrical with how many rows of blue I have. So I was going to do one more row and then put the finding on, but I actually want to start it now. So here's the trick to starting that one. You can kind of see it. Let me grab another finding. But just think of it like a little puzzle piece. You need to end on a row where you're going to be doing an odd count turn next, right? So we did an even count row. Maybe that would be the better way to say it. Secure the finding on the finishing sides at the start of an odd count turn. So this would be that here. So we'll go through the finding. And then we'll go through the next bead. Pick up a bead. Yeah, see, that's going to match a little better. And then we'll go through. I don't know. I feel the need to play with this pattern a little more. Maybe it's okay. And then I'm just going to go through the up bead just by itself. So here's the odd count turn. I'm going to go through the finding. And that's the only thing that's different. Because normally at the end of the odd count turn row, you'd go through this bead right here, right? Hold it up. You'd continue through this bead, which you could do. In fact, either way is going to work just fine. You can go through this bead and then back through this one to turn and reinforce, or you can go through the finding after this up bead and then go this way. Things that wouldn't work with a single bead work with the finding because it's already secured by its shape. So here's the figure 8. The odd count turn we know and love. Coming right up. And our chance to reinforce our connection. So there's just like that. And that, in a nutshell, is how to put that finding on in a roundabout way. Sorry for my rough demo there. But, you know, I would say it's Friday. It's not Friday. Today's actually Thursday. And I made it through the whole day on 1 cup of coffee. And now it's too late to have another one. No, not even like it's pumpkin spice season too. So I'm starting to crave sugar in the afternoons. So that was me reinforcing that side. I just want to show you the whole finishing it process here. So we'll just go through real quickly over here. I want to reinforce the other side of the finding. There we go. There we go. Now I'm just weaving in to trim it. Just a few beads, go through a few. There's not a lot of beadwork here to go and weave in through, but it kind of works. And then what you do with your tail side, let me grab another needle here. It's the same thing. This is your chance to reinforce this side of the beadwork. And put a needle on this side. There we go. Needle challenged today. And this is already reinforced pretty well. Looks like I put 2 passes on there. Yeah, in fact, as part of the start of this, I did do some reinforcing. It's written into the instructions now that I think about it. So we can just go ahead and weave this one in as well if you want to. Because this is an earring, I have a unique opportunity to go ahead for my tail. Maybe I'll do that. There we go. Okay. And I'm just doing a knot because, I can. Why not? There we go. And I'm going to bring this back through the bead that I had exited from and then just tighten it here like that. And then the knot is inside the bead there. And I can just trim it. So here's my thread burner. Isn't this cute? It looks like kind of like a little belt buckle, kind of. I don't know why that just jumped in my head, but it's kind of what it looks like. There we go. So hopefully that made a little bit of sense. This could be a cute earring. It's a little industrial looking, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Or make a bunch and link them together. It could be the focal of a bracelet. A lot of things, but now we know how to put the finding on beginning and end and have it look really cool. And of course, the way I showed you starting it, if you feel like that's complex in any way, if you think that maybe that's not the easiest way to do it, I think I was just looking for something interesting to do, really. But there's no reason you can't just make a row of peyote and then put the finding on, just like we did on the finishing side. So if you just want to start a regular stitch, and the counts being, you're going to work an odd count that starts with 9 beads. An odd count that starts with 9 beads, you add the finding as part of an odd count row. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So that could have been summed up like way shorter, but we got to have fun together. So let's see. I want to show you guys one more thing really quick. I have something else in the works. I was kind of playing around and using up some tiara cast findings that I had. I did create a little box. It's a check treasure box, and that is still in my shop if you want these exact beads I'm using. So this is square stitch, and it could also be done on the loom. But I was looking for kind of a fun way to put on those little 2-hole check tiles, which I've been playing a lot with these. Jules had some in some of her recent kits, and so I was just inspired to get those out and work with them. This is definitely getting into like a holiday colorway, and it's got a lot of the green and the pops of berry. Feels very cool. But again, it's square stitch, but it's a multi-drop square. So it starts out with 2s and 3s, basically. You're working in sets of 2 and 3. I'm going to do instructions, a full PDF. It might take me till next week to get it done, but I will get it out there, and then I'll do a video. So it's just something neat, something different. The little fringe is added at the end, and I only put the fringe on one side, but you could put it on both sides. So that's one thing that I'm working on. And then I have an earring. This is kind of just like blast from the past, something from my memory. Originally, Tracy Proctor did a design when these first came out and the collection was launched. They did this kind of like, it was a pearl with chain on top and bottom, and then just a simple row of 8-0 seed beads around the stitch and hoop. I want to do something like this, so more things like this. And so it's just a way to use some cool check glass beads, any kind of beautiful check focal. And the box that I am featuring has a bunch of focals in there. So if you're looking for this is all from that check treasure box. But I think other things, could work, and other hoops, other styles. So we can really do a lot of stuff like that. I think there's something similar I have on my website already as far as tutorials go. You'll recognize this one that we did a while back together. Even has the same, like, kind of sort of same melon beads, same size hoop, but this one is a nun design hoop. And I put the Pelos finding on it. That one was really fun. We did a couple colors of that one. we're getting into that season where you need quick gifts. These kind of designs, they stitch up so quickly that I feel like we just need to do another round of this kind of beading just for fun, just for the holidays. So that's coming up. That's something that is in my brain that I'm working on right away. And last but not least, I had one more that I just finished up that I was really excited about. Let me show you that. This one is really different. They look similar, but they're made in a different stitch. So while this one was square, this one was a multi-drop peyote. And it was really easy to put together. And I think of everything I've made recently, this was the one where I got into that flow where you don't want to stop working. And so whenever that happens, I know I kind of got a winner there. So this one, definitely, I'm going to write this up. I'm going to get these in more colors. I love them. They're so cool. So currently I only have this color in the shop. These beads are all in my shop. So I've got, of course, here's a toggle. It's the, were these called the Anna toggle, guys? I can't remember. But they are silver, gold. I have a copper and the antique brass you see here. But the gold goes really nicely with this one, the stitch in. 3 prongs. And I did kind of like a, it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1 drop. And it is an odd count. See, it's got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bead, basically 5 beads per row if you count the multi-drops, but it's not hard. And then you come along at the end. So basically you create this whole thing and you even attach it to the finding. And you'll notice my embellishment, it's exiting from the finding itself. Pretty cool, right? I used every single color of green and aqua fire polish that I had and loved them so much that I put everything I have left in the store. So if you want to grab these, like it's basically every single green. There's one that's called Moon Dust, I think. That one. And that one looks like almost like a mint color, olive, Picasso. But that's so fun. The seed beads in the middle are Toho. The Toho are from my Milky collection. I have a Milky Greens. I think it's either a trio or a quad. I can't remember now, but it's on a card and you'll see it in my 80 seed bead listings. And then last but not least, the little 11 seed beads that are hiding here. Those are available in my Toho 11 palette, which has 4 beads on a card. I think I called it the Forest Mix, which I need to come up with some new names, honestly. I'll check and see what I called it. Hang on. Actually, I'm saved. I just checked. It's called the Toho Fall Palette. Actually, I can share my screen and bring them up. So this is my size 11 seed beads. And so I'm hoping it's showing you right now the little card. Yeah, okay, I can kind of see it. The card there that says Toho 11 Fall Palette, which is this one. The color you see on the edge is this Picasso green. So I used that one. And then if we go back to my 8s, this is the, I called it the Cool Mint Trio. But the reason I called it Milky is because it has that milky green in it. That color is not, and Milky Spicy at the bottom. That color is not easy to find. So it's definitely a cool one. That's what I used in this bracelet. And then, of course, there is the fire polishes. And those are found under my check glass. So here you see all these greens. They're 4mm. And I basically used a strand of every single one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 different colors. These are only 3mm. These are 4. I realized they kind of look like the same size. So when you're browsing, just know that I messed that up really badly. I want to show you something else. I've got a bulk de-stash going on. So these are things I don't have a lot of, so I'm not going to do too much content for them other than I kind of promised I would do the herringbone with these, and that is on my list, definitely. But there's just not that many colors, so I'm just throwing the whole bundles. And then this one, these are leftovers I had from my awesome collection I did with Jody. So I still have tons of these flowers, so I thought I would put these in a bundle for you. So this entire check bundle is in my store. And also these 4mm rounds, also from the Jody bundle. You get the whole pack. So I'm just destashing those. So I put those up there as a bulk destash option. Last but not least, let me show you the check treasure box. Where is that? Is it under my project box? No, that's the, here, we'll just go to general shopping. It will come up for us if I scroll. Here it is. So the bracelet that I've been showing with the 2-hole check tiles comes from this collection. You can see the finding there, and you can see the hoops. And then of course, here's the rest of the beads I used, some of the flowers and cute little Swarovski, the real Austrian crystal tier cast made from my hoarding vintage stash there. Yeah, so that's what I got going in the shop right now. And I'm recording this on the 30th, guys. Here, let me bring back my other screen. There we go. I'm back. So I'm recording this on the 30th. By the time this airs, the box will be already closed for taking pre-orders. If for some reason you're watching this and you missed it, message me. I'll check the counts and see if I'm still okay. If I'm still under my number, I can maybe turn on one for you. So just let me know. But it was getting tight when I last looked. So it's a really nice one, though. It's going to be fun. It's not going to be the last one. So don't sweat if you're busy this season and you're not wanting to deal with another project box and you want to wait till the new year. No problem. The next one will ship in January. But the pre-orders will open up at the end of November. So those are going to be something special. I'll do a little more of an announcement when we get closer, but in the box is just, it's been so cool. Everyone's loving it. So it's taking up a lot of my bandwidth. In addition to many other things that are going on, but it's so cool. So I will keep you posted and announce more details when that gets closer. But in the meanwhile, look forward to seeing your shipping notification for the Out of This World project box. I'm going to be doing an unboxing. Check my calendar. I'm going to be tweaking the dates just a little bit. Today, a lot's in flux. I'm trying to move some stuff around so I can take the Saturday for this video off. So, but take a look. I've moved the dates on the calendar are all listed there, and I've moved a few things around. So take a look there at that. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to wish you happy beading. Hope you're having a really great Saturday. And I'll see you tomorrow for Silky Sunday. I'm going to be back live for that with Nile, and then we're going to have Space Pickle on. So woohoo! I'm looking forward to seeing you guys for that. In the meanwhile, happy beading. Lots of love to you. And I'll see you for the next one.